city with an incredible history in engineering, art, science, music, culture, an amazing nightlife, loyal population. I'm talking, of course, about Berlin. But I have a theory. I have a theory that there's an American Berlin, a city with equally amazing architecture, history, music, culture, nightlife, and a loyal population. And that city is Detroit. This is not about the ruins of Detroit, although we're going to see them. This is about my theory that Detroit is the American Berlin, and Detroit is the best city in America. Let's find out. The first treat, and I knew I was going to see Josh Vitsa, but the first treat was not only to see Josh Vitsa, but to have him arrive in a distinctly, profoundly, utterly American car, a brand new Buick Regal.
We're here in the same way we want to drive an Audi in Berlin, we're driving a Buick in Detroit.
Appropriate, Buick in Detroit.
This is the kind of vehicle that if a certain tourist came to America and rented a car, he'd want it to be powerful and very white. And those tourists would be Vikings.
Here the key is, there's a surprise for you inside as well.
No way.
Yeah.
Devil's lettuce?
No, better.
True, it is based on an Opel Insignia, and true, that is GM of Germany. But in a way, given that Detroit is, I hope to find, to be the American Berlin, an Opel Insignia badged as a GM, as a Buick, made somehow sense. And it was a manual. Getting into the city, middle afternoon, no traffic. Absolutely no traffic. Makes no sense. And then I noticed something else. There is nowhere at all are there any well-known branded chain stores. The Gap, Starbucks are nowhere to be found. J. Crew, Kmart, Best Buy. So far, I saw elements of Reno in terms of the lack of pedestrians. Well, I guess we're not having any trouble finding a spot. Here, this is a good spot right here. Right? That's good. Detroit is a city of many secrets. One of them is that the Montessori school has been so successful, they've built a lavish kid space here in a replica of the Wayne County building. It's stone for stone, perfect. This sax player is awesome. But, you know, but he reminds me a little bit of General Motors in that he's doing his best work in a location when no one's listening, kind of like General Motors marketing. That's not really fair because they made some great cars recently, but children, like bands, should never be named anything that could be used later to mock them. And this, behind me, is the Renaissance Center. This is the symbol of Detroit in every news story that you've ever seen or read. This, of course, is not the real Detroit. In the same way the Chrysler Building does not represent New York City. We're going to find the real Detroit. Our next stop was a treat, because before we ended up doing the ruin porn thing, something that was very hard to avoid from almost anyone who came before us, we got a call from our friend Mark Urbano, super famous car photographer and Detroit local. Mark gave us an address. An address led us to exactly the kind of building I'd really hoped to avoid. One of these absolutely destroyed warehouses. But as we approached, we realized it wasn't really destroyed. It wasn't even abandoned. Some windows were smashed, the exterior was a wreck. But this was the Russell Shopping Center. Dude, I love Detroit so far. In the back of this building, at the end of the parking lot, hidden behind a black Honda CR-V, we saw it. It was something unbelievable. something you'd never expect to see anywhere in the United States, but especially in Detroit. Now, we're not here in Detroit to look at ruin porn. We're here to look at an awesome car using the backdrop of ruin porn. And that car would be something unbelievable. It's that. The decline of the American automobile industry in Detroit has led to an unexpected rebirth, a rebirth of the aftermarket business, specifically the most realistic body kits in America. This being the most impressive thing I've ever seen. The absolute most realistic Aston Martin 177 body kit I've ever seen. This is the Fiero 177. Amazing, amazing. That thing is awesome looking. That's what a supercar is supposed to look like. Mark's one of those folks who's utterly self-deprecating, totally humble. And this guy from Detroit went to SVA, School of Visual Arts in New York, worked his balls off, photo assistant like anyone else, but he had a passion for cars. If you could have any other job in the world, is there one?
Is there one for me?
No.
I don't think so.
And you're one of the luckiest men we've ever met.
I mean,
Because most men can, no matter what they're doing, can think of at least one other job.
well,
You know what I'm talking about.
I think the only other job I probably would like to have is just being a doctor, because I'd follow my father's footsteps,
Really?
and that would make them very happy.
That's really
But
interesting.
other than that, no.
For $1 million, I would not want to be a doctor. But that's where you and I
I
differ.
couldn't be. That was my problem. I just couldn't be, and I couldn't stomach all the things about being a doctor.
Interesting. The vendors at the Russell Market, well, some of the vendors, were there on their day off or on a day when the market's officially closed. The Russell Market has to really be seen to be understood. If you go to Paris, here at Detroit's Russell Market, you have stalls with literally gates, cages even, well protected, available for under $100 a month, where people sell stuff. And I don't mean, this is no flea market. There are actual people here selling brand new furniture, art, and in the case of Mr. J, original fashion design. And thank goodness I was there, because I was freezing and badly dressed. Calm in my life. Bang, this fits because I will wear it out right now. Dude. It's mine. I'm buying it right now. Yeah, this is mine. You have a mirror? JF.
How do you like it, Detroit?
Dude, so far it is the American Berlin. It is awesome.
Pretty incredible, right?
My whole life I've wanted to say the following and get to say it to you. Look at the outfit I'm wearing! And look at this shirt I bought. Hold it. You know what this is? This is my urban safari jacket. Because we are on an urban safari. Look, here's a hat. How'd it get here? This Buick Regal is based on the Opel Insignia, one of European GM's designs. This is a car in the mold of the Audi A4 or the Volvo S60. And this is an extraordinarily underappreciated car. Today, we're in the Buick Regal GS, the new upmarket Regal. And let me tell you, this is the car that absolutely changed my mind about American sedans. Here is a car that's taken a brand that literally was off my radar my whole life and has put it smack at the top. Okay, maybe not quite the top, but right next to the Cadillac CTS. The Buick Regal, I'll say it flat out, is a fantastic car. What a lot of people don't know about Buick is that David Buick himself was one of the first and most important American car designers. In fact, Buick formed the cornerstone of General Motors. But the big surprise about Buick is that he sold his stake in the company long before Buick became a joke among American car manufacturers, and long before he died at age 74 in obscurity, a teacher. Today, 35 million cars to his name. From the instant I got in the car, I began looking for reasons not to like it. Well, they were hard to find. It's great looking from the outside. It's great looking from the inside. It has a manual transmission. The seating position is wonderful. It would never occur to me that I could pull up to, well, anywhere in Detroit and get out of my car, see a good-looking girl approach with her boyfriend. They looked at this car and they said, awesome. And then she's like, really cool. I mean, I'm not making this up. I mean, I've never been paid by a manufacturer in my life. Okay, not true, Audi one time. But Buick? I mean, people looking at a Buick and liking it, and they were my age and she was good looking, it makes no sense. Why in Detroit is there an air raid siren? Is it because, where the is that coming from? Was that? That was really scary and weird. This engine unbelievably puts out over 270 horsepower, and in most driving, it handles like a rear-wheel drive car. Very strange. This car is one exhaust and two drivetrain wheels away from being, I mean, I'm going to say something crazy here, an American M3. And this is a fantastic car, and I'd consider buying it. And I can't believe I just said that. I know I said we were not going to visit any ruin porn, but having bought this amazing urban safari jacket at the Russell Mall from Mr. J's Haberdasher, there was no way we could avoid coming to at least one location that is really ruin porn. So given that it is Motor City, I thought we should come to this, the Ford Model T factory location on Piquette Avenue. Now, this is important not because this is where Henry Ford built the first car, because he did not build the first car. That was Daimler. Henry Ford invented the assembly line. And if you've played Civilization, you know it's a very important technology to learn. And here, this is really where he built the car that became the 707 of aircraft, the vivid video of video. So it is interesting. But to be honest with you, I'm not interested in Detroit for the car history. I'm not even interested in Detroit for the ruin porn. I'm interested in everything that was hinted at by what happened today. The people we met were absolutely bizarre and fascinating, like going to New York for the first time. And of course, like going to Berlin for the first time. There's no doubt that Detroit is American Berlin, and that there's way more going on here than even Knoxville hinted at in his documentary a few years ago. I cannot wait to see more. And it's not about the buildings, and it's not even about the cars. And Ford, I'm sorry I brought this GM product here. In our next episode, we get into the secrets of Detroit. I can't wait.
Then turn left immediately onto I-375 North.
You must turn left, you must. You must. Well, here was the Frederick Douglass John Brown meeting, which is amazing if you know anything about John Brown. And the first Jewish religious services in America, which is also amazing.
Please be serious. Come on.
I'm going to go around the corner and look at those signs because I was serious.
Please turn left.
You had some great stuff as you drove into the city.
Well, back here was the first Jewish religious meeting in America, as well as the location of the Frederick Douglass John Brown meeting, which, if you know anything about American history and slavery, you would find incredibly ironic because we're pretty far north here.
What do you know about American history more, Steve?
Well, I read a book called Cloud Split, which is about the American abolitionist movement. Yeah, I did.
That book is 1,200 pages.
Yeah, I did read it. Yeah, I did. And the fact that I didn't even name the book proves that I read it.
No,
because
that doesn't mean anything.
You're right, I didn't read it actually. But I'm a very liberal person, and I would have sided with the Union. How about you? I'd like, Because you're either for or slavery. It's like pedophilia. You're either for it or against it. I'm against it. How about you?
You just said slavery is like pedophilia.
You're either for it or against it. Well, I'll let you know your position on these things.
We're gonna have to bleep out this entire conversation.